What is going on, everybody? We're having a little ICW podcast debate type thing going on. PWI released a top 500 wrestlers of 2016, but a lot of people have been wondering about the top 10. So we're going to look into the top 10 real quick, and we're going to kind of talk about it and just kind of see if you guys agree, kind of see if we agree with the list or anything. So the top 10 is of 2016. I guess this is so far because the year hasn't ended yet. Not sure when this came out either. I'm not sure if it came out in September or if it came out in like July or something, and now we're just seeing it. But the number one is Roman Reigns. Number two is Okada, because I can't say his first name. Number three is sure Kazuchika. I'll let you butcher his name when we get to you. Three is Finn Balor. Four is AJ Styles. Five is Jay Lethal. Six is Kevin Owens. Seven is Shinsuke Nakamura. Eight is Seth Rollins. Nine is Dean Ambrose. 10 is John Cena. I do like that they are featuring, mostly like all but two of these guys are in WWE now. But I like that they're kind of featuring other guys too. Guys that aren't just WWE, because I think when you get a lot of times with these lists, you end up having so many WWE guys just because WWE is WWE, right? But I guess we should just kind of I guess, do you want to just go kind of like one by one and just kind of say, do you agree or do you not agree? Think that'll be easier.
Yeah, we could do that.
All right. We'll just go from 10 and count up. Number 10 is John Cena. Now I know Casey's not going to agree with this one. I don't know. I think and obviously we don't necessarily know what they're ranking it on. This is just kind of like a here it is. It's kind of like if they gave you like a top 10 list of the top 10 NFL players from last year, we wouldn't necessarily know what they're ranking them on. Even by NFL standards. So that's kind of one of the things about this. But number 10 is John Cena. I I don't disagree. I guess I'm more so happier that he's not kind of at the top. But if I'm not mistaken, was the U.S. Open Challenge? It wasn't this year though, was it? It was last year, right? Okay. So I mean, with that, because I guess you gotta carry in a little momentum going in from 2015. Him coming back and whatnot. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'd put him on this list. Like, he's had some great matches this year, but I don't. I mean, obviously I'd put him on the list, but I'm not sure if I'd put him in the top 10, simply because I just feel like he hasn't done enough to me to really deserve, even as far as like titles or anything. He hasn't really done enough for me to really be like, oh yeah. Like, maybe last year I would have said this because he was in the world title picture for a little bit. He didn't necessarily win it, but he was in it with Rollins, and all of that. But I wouldn't really say that John Cena is top 10 worthy in my opinion. Now, who would I replace him with? I have no idea at this point. Um, I think there is a definite lack of TNA stars on this. At least one or two in the top 10, but you know, you can put on the most consistent wrestling show of the year and still not have your wrestlers in the top 10, because that makes sense. But Casey, thoughts on your number 10? I mean, I think you made this list. Number 10, John Cena.
If I made this list, John Cena certainly would not be in the top 10. And not because I hate John Cena, but similar to DJ's points, he just hasn't. I mean, yeah, he's had some good matches and he's been like in matches and stuff, but he hasn't. He hasn't been, and it's weird to say this, he hasn't been the focal point for it feels like for the most of 2016, like he always has been, and I still hate him even when he's not. But I just don't think he hasn't been in like the main title pictures and storylines and all of that enough to really say he's top 10. And you don't necessarily have to be in the main event picture or in the title picture or whatever to be high up to me in a top 500 wrestlers of whatever of 2016. but I just don't think his performance hasn't been a top 10 performance when you're talking, best wrestlers, throughout the world, because PWI does do, all indie promotions and stuff like that, which is kind of surprising that we don't see a couple more, guys from like, PWG, other, promotions. It's kind of, we get, New Japan in here, we get obviously WWE. But yeah, it still seems heavily in the WWE era or in the genre right here, on this top 10, which obviously you kind of expect, but I definitely wouldn't put John Cena on the top 10, maybe the top 20, but and I don't know who I would replace him with. There's some guys I would put in the top 10, but I don't know if I would replace certain, number 10 with so and so or number 5 with whoever.
To me, and I feel like from 6 to 10, it feels like not, and I would actually say from 8 to 10 to me, and I'll get to those points here in a second. But I just feel like my overall thought process is this a 2015? Because then yes, I would put you on the, I would probably put you on the top 10. So number 9 is Dean Ambrose, and absolutely not, in my opinion. Top of 2016. Now, if this was top of 2016, if we say over the past month, maybe, right? Because he's got the WWE World Championship. But when you think about it, before he won the Money in the Bank contract and the WWE World title, what was he doing? Absolutely nothing. He was losing a lot. He just wasn't, to me, in my opinion, wasn't that relevant. I felt like the title really made him relevant to me again and made me care about Dean Ambrose. And I feel like to it like, as far as maybe like over superstars, yeah, I'll give you that. But top 10 wrestlers as far as like what he's done in WWE this year, absolutely not. Dean Ambrose does not deserve to be on the top 10. I'll be honest, he probably doesn't even deserve to be on the top 30 or 40. By the way, he's been booked this year. Number 9, Dean Ambrose. Thoughts, Casey?
I'm going to be looking for a new co-host for the Instant Classic Wrestling podcast, because this fool wrong. I definitely think that Dean Ambrose deserves to be on the top 10 and higher than number 9. Yes, before the title and before the Money in the Bank, he was losing, but he was still putting on good matches. And I don't think necessarily to be one of the, a great wrestler, you don't have to be winning all the time if you're putting on great matches. We say Dolph Ziggler is one of the greatest sellers and one of the greatest, in-ring competitors that WWE has had in, years. And he loses more than he wins.
So you're saying Dolph Ziggler deserves to be on the top 10, 15, 20 of this list then? Because basically they're the same person.
He deserves to be like 11, and Dean deserves to be like 5.
Dean deserves to be like 51.
He deserves to be like 5, and you deserve to be like.
Oh, we're talking 500. I thought we were talking. Oh, I could probably push him back a little more. You got any more points on Dean Ambrose?
I hate you. That's it. I just hate you.
Okay, that's fine. That's why this is a debate. I'm not supposed to agree with every point that you agree with. Number 8 is Seth Rollins. No, I love Seth Rollins. I really do. I think he's Mr. Pay-Per-View in my opinion. I love Seth Rollins, but once again, absolutely not. He was injured for 6 months of this year, if I'm not mistaken, right? At least. So if this was a top 10 of last year, yes, I would say absolutely yes. But it's not. This is supposed to be 2016, and Seth Rollins was injured for the majority of it, or the majority of the time that we've been watching it. We're 9 months in. He was injured for about 6 of those months. And yes, his return was cool. All of that was cool, but you can't give me 3 months and be like, oh yeah, MVP, MVP. No, that's not how that works. That's not how that works in any other sport. So I don't know why it would work in wrestling.
I mean, Tom Brady, it works.
It still wouldn't work, even for Tom Brady. When he was out that entire most of that entire year, he didn't win the MVP. But I feel like he's just been injured all year. So no, I would not put Seth Rollins on my top 10 of this year at this point. Casey, thoughts on Seth Rollins?
Okay. I also love Seth Rollins. I liked him back in the Shield. I liked his indie stuff as Tyler Black, but I would not put him in the top 10 of 2016. And to be honest, if I was putting this, and again, this is a debate. This is my opinion. I would not put him 2015 either, just because I don't like the way that they booked him with the Authority. I don't like that they kind of held his hand.
How? I mean, like, if you think about it, like, and yes, I know we're supposed to disagree, so that's why I love this. So you're trying to tell me the man who cashed in his Money in the Bank contract at WrestleMania, who won the WWE World Championship and the U.S. Championship and beat up John Cena, you're trying to tell me that Seth Rollins doesn't deserve to be on the 2015 list? You are out of your mind, sir.
Whoa, I didn't say he didn't deserve to be on the list. I'm saying he doesn't deserve to be on the top 10.
Still, the top, bro. Like every stat I've just given to you is worthy. He even won money. No, he might have won Money in the Bank in 2014, but still,
he is one of the greatest wrestlers we have currently in the business. You would not know that from the way that they held his hand.
Okay. I think we can move to number 7. Number 7 is Shinsuke Nakamura. That's how that's how they pronounce it in Japan. So I'm pronouncing Shinsuke for the rest of my life. But I'm really into Nakamura. I haven't. I've been meaning to, and I started watching it, but I never got a chance to finish it. I've been meaning to go back and watch Wrestle Kingdom 1 because I know that was a big moment for him. Or Wrestle Kingdom 10, my bad. Yes, the first one. No, Wrestle Kingdom 10. I've been meaning to watch that, and also, just from that and his WWE run, and I think if I'm not mistaken, he won the IWGP Intercontinental Championship this year, if I'm not mistaken, too, which is pretty doggone freaking good. I would say, without a doubt, yes. Shinsuke should be at least in the top 5 of this list, in my opinion, because I feel like Shinsuke he's done so much in this year alone. He's become now. I feel like he would probably be higher if he came up and won a main roster title. Because I think winning the NXT title is important, but I think too that I don't know who these people are who make this list, but I think it would be even more important if he won like a main roster title, because that title, the NXT title, IWGP title, and he beat AJ Styles at Wrestle Kingdom 10. Like, huh? Yeah, so like there's just so much for Shinsuke right now. So much momentum going for Shinsuke right now as far as this year is concerned. So I would say yes, and I think honestly he got snubbed a little bit on this one. I think he should be higher. He should be at least top 5 in my opinion. Casey, thoughts on your number 7 Shinsuke Nakamura?
First of all, before I get to that, you reminded me that I've been doing it wrong. So it's Johan Kenna, Deanne Ambrose, and Seth Rollins. That one's too hard to. And then Shinsuke Nakamura. I would put him higher. Yeah, he hasn't won a main roster title in WWE, but all the things that he has done, and just in general, the talent that he is, he definitely deserves to be higher than just number 7. And it's Shinsuke Nakamura. If Kazuchika Okada is number 2, Shinsuke Nakamura should be at least like number 4 or 5. Come on now.
I and now, albeit I haven't watched a ton of New Japan this year. I've watched some. I've watched Okada, who I like a lot. I feel like Shinsuke's had the better year.
Yeah, I mean, he did get signed by WWE.
He got signed by WWE. He won IWGP Intercontinental Championship, NXT Championship. Has had put on nothing but great matches in NXT. Like there's no bad sign like about this man. Like there's nothing about this man that's just been terrible to me.
True.
Are we ready to move on to numero 6?
Numero 60. I'm ready to go on to numero 60.
All right, number 6 is Kevin Owens. Now this one's a tough one for me because I think we always live in a especially now with Kevin Owens, we always live in a "what have you done for me lately" type of a world, right? So Kevin Owens being on this top 10, I'm like, yeah, of course he should be. He's WWE Universal Champion, yeah. So like a little bit of me is like, what have you done for me lately? But to a certain degree, I I don't know if I. This is so tough. I would probably still put Kevin Owens in the top 10. I don't. 6 is pretty fair for Kevin Owens. I think he's had a really good year ever since he turned on Sami Zayn, which that might have been last year if I'm not mistaken. It's kind of hard to keep up, but
I think that was like 2 years ago.
oh really? Man. Anyway, but still, ever since he turned on Sami Zayn, he's just been going higher and higher. He beat John Cena on his first night, which he'll tell you to your face. He's beat John Cena on his first night, which was something that no one expected. But I just feel like Kevin Owens has had a good year. He's had a really good year. He's been able to win the Intercontinental Championship. He's been able to at least hoist up the U.S. title, and if he would have beat John Cena for the U.S. title, I think that would have been a really good step for him anyway. Now he's WWE Universal Champion. So I just feel like Kevin Owens right now is just doing it all, and I'm really enjoying everything that Kevin Owens is doing. Still, when I think about his positioning on the top 10, I really don't know because he's had some great matches this year. Sami Zayn, that's always a one you always think about. But I don't know about Kevin Owens on the top 10. Like maybe like 11, maybe. But I think he has been impressive. But I think Kevin Owens' is like rookie year was better than his. I guess you could call this like kind of his second year. But he's still doing things at a high level, so it's tough for me to say that Kevin Owens doesn't deserve a top 10 spot. Like Kevin Owens is one of those guys. Like I can say it now, and then I can think about it and be like, no, but then I can come back and be like, yeah, he does deserve it. But Casey, Kevin Owens, number 6, thoughts?
I think he definitely deserves it. I mean, he's been constant. He had the Intercontinental title. He's now that poor man has to carry around that ugly title, but he's still the champion. Even when he didn't have titles, did he have the IC? Has he had a title for the whole 2015 or most of it anyway? It feels like he's at least had the Intercontinental title. But even when he doesn't, he's still in, good storylines. He still puts on great matches.
Yeah, and the thing is about him too, not even good storylines. Like he's at least, if nothing else, in storylines we care about.
Yeah, and I mean, even if he's put in storylines we don't necessarily care about, he makes them good. And I think that just goes to he's a good character too. He's a good heel. Now him teamed up with Chris Jericho is magic. I would definitely put him on the top 10. I don't know necessarily where in the top 10, because part of me is like, well, 6 is too low, but then I don't know if I would put him like at 4 or 3 because that's a little bit too. I don't know. It's kind of hard, you know. If I had to really rank these, I don't know. You know, it'd be really hard to do.
Yeah, I definitely agree. All right, number 5, we have Jay Lethal. Um, now th- he and Okada to me are going to be kind of conflicts of interest, I guess, to a certain degree, because I haven't really been able to watch the Indies as much this year. Um, but when I think about it, if Jay Lethal's going in with the same amount of momentum that he came out of 2015 with, and doing the same things, and if not doing them better, I definitely feel like he should be on this list. And plus, this was the year he held he was still holding the TV title and the world title, if I'm not mistaken. So like, I mean, as far as like, I don't necessarily like, I can't, you know, I can't say anything about him in ring this year because I haven't watched much, but I can definitely say if there's any building from last year, he definitely deserves to be on the top 10. Casey, thoughts on Jay Lethal?
Yeah, I mean, to me, to be in the top 10 or top 20, whatever, it doesn't necessarily even have to be about titles. I mean, there's guys that I think are incredible that haven't necessarily won titles. And I'm trying to remember when he lost the world title. But even without the title, you know, he has good matches. You know, his character is great. You know, he gets the fans are always behind him. And Mark, obviously he's better than Mark. But I mean, I love Mark too. But he, you know,
They were
I
talking
would
Jay
put,
Lethal, right? Not Briscoe.
yeah, I was, you know,
But would you put Jay Briscoe? I mean, while we're on it,
I would,
would you put Jay Briscoe?
yeah, yeah. No, I would take John Cena out, and I would put Jay Lethal. Yeah, still. I mean, still, yeah. He definitely deserves it. I I feel like talking about Jay Lethal now. No, he's always been. I think if not top 10 wrestlers, he's always been at least top 20. You know, consistently wherever he's been. I think he was just as good. Obviously, he's better now, but I think he's been just as good in TNA when he was there. And you know, he's one of those guys that no matter what gimmick they give him, no matter what storyline he's in, no matter what title he has, he makes it work. And whether he's a face or he's a heel, he's good. He's not one of my favorites necessarily, but I still enjoy watching his matches. His promos are good. He doesn't look good bald though, but that's fine. That's fine. They wanted to shave him. That's fine. I get it.
I wonder will
I
it
don't
ever
get
grow
it.
back? I think that's the key question.
Well, I mean, it wasn't a hair versus hair match, so it might, and it wasn't in WWE, so it might.
All right. I'm gonna change it up here, and we got AJ Styles at number 4. I'm gonna give it to you first because I wanna change it up a little bit. How does AJ Styles stack up on this list, Casey?
Oh god. Oh, this is where it gets tough. Um. Wait, when did he debut in WWE? Was it
It was
Wrestle
it was Rumble.
Rumble? Okay, so close to the beginning of the year. I would say the first, if we're like cutting his time in WWE in half, I would say his first half of the year was great. Definitely top 10. Uh, it feels like since the draft, he's dropped off a little bit. He's still in good feuds. I'm still, really excited with what they're doing. But I feel like he was on a big roll when they were doing the club, and we got that teaser with Finn Balor, and we were wondering, are they going to do a storyline with Finn Balor and AJ? And then when they did when they split up the club, it I feel like it lost a little bit of momentum, but he's still in the title picture. Hopefully he wins. Probably not, because WWE hates us. I mean, I guess I would keep him. I don't know if I would put him at 4. But yeah, I'd keep him in the top 10.
Right. All right. Um, I also would definitely keep him in the top 10. Not only like he said, he got a chance to be in a huge main event caliber match in the Tokyo Dome. And now, and then he got like a couple of weeks later got a chance to freaking do his thing in the Rumble, which was pretty freaking cool. Um, I would definitely keep him on the top 10. I think he definitely deserves it. Definitely deserves to be on the top 10 of this list for this year. He's had an amazing year. I'm trying to figure out kind of where I would put him, because I feel like it started off really hot because oh my god, AJ Styles in WWE. It started off really hot. Then he got put in the feud with Jericho, which wasn't necessarily a letdown or wasn't necessarily bad. I just think it may have lasted a little bit longer than it needed to. And that kind of blew off kind of some of his steam. But since then, I feel like he's done really well. With the feud of John Cena, it was freaking probably feud of the year, one of them at least. As far as realistic, being realistic, making a lot of sense. Continuity was really good. Um, and plus he won at the end, which was surprising. I definitely feel like he belongs on this list though. I would definitely keep AJ Styles on this list. By any stretch of the imagination, you can kick Cena off, you can kick Ambrose off, you can kick Rollins off.
Whoa,
and
not
and Styles still stays. Ambrose does not deserve it this year.
does.
If Ambrose deserves it, Ziggler deserves it.
No, he doesn't.
Like if Ambrose deserves it, Ziggler's like right there behind him. Then I think Dean Ambrose should be on the same level as Dolph Ziggler, but just a nudge higher because he got the title.
Nope.
Because I didn't give two craps about Dean Ambrose until he won that title. And I didn't even give a crap when he won the title, to be honest. I just gave a crap the next night when it kicked in that he won it.
It's because you drinking the haterade.
I'm not. He just hasn't had a great year. But
drinking the haterade.
Number 3.
Haterade.
We got Finn Balor. It's so hard for me to say no on this. Because I really do believe that he belongs in the top 10. Now, number 3, I don't know. I think he's had a good year. I really don't know. I really don't know about Finn. Because I do like Finn. I enjoy watching Finn. I think Finn's tremendous. I think he's really good. He's hit or miss on the mic at times, but I think is in the ring. He's really good. I don't know. I mean, he did have the NXT title, which is always a good thing. And he had good matches. He had good main event matches, but I felt like the main event fell on Finn Balor at a time when the women were outdoing the men. When Bayley was outdoing Finn Balor, in my opinion, when Asuka's outdoing Finn Balor, and that's kind of one of those things. And I think it's kind of odd. There's no female wrestlers in this top. I don't know if this is just males or what, but it's kind of surprised there's no female wrestlers in this, because I would put probably like a Bayley in front of Finn Balor on this list. But I mean, I think Finn Balor's had a good year. I think he's worthy of the top 10. But I feel like he came in as like the top dog on NXT at a time that was kind of unfavorable for him. Not necessarily his fault by any means. It was just kind of the timing of it. But Finn Balor definitely deserves to be on the top 10. Casey, thoughts on Finn Balor?
Number 1. I mean,
you are out of your freaking mind.
You're just mad because Michael Tarver isn't on this list.
Because people barely know who Michael Tarver is at this point.
Yes, they do. He was in the Nexus. He was the best member of the Nexus.
Oh, you talking about that random black guy that was in the Nexus? Oh, he sucks, bro. That's probably what they're thinking right now. Let's be honest.
That's racist. Uh, he definitely deserves to be in the top 10. I would dare say number 2. Yeah.
Yeah. Only number 2 if Bailey's number 1. like.
All right. Bailey's number 2. Sasha's number 1. Finn's number 3.
All right. Let's go to number 2. I'm not going to say his first name because I don't know it. Okada. I'm just going to go with Okada, Rainmaker. I do enjoy Okada. From what I've watched of him, which hasn't been a lot, I'll be honest. But I do enjoy watching him when I do get a chance to watch him. Once again, one of those situations where I haven't had a lot of chance to watch him, so I don't really know. But like I said with Lethal, if he's bringing in the momentum he brought in last year, it feels like that 2016 should have been his year if nothing else. So I would put Nakamura over Okada, but that's just my opinion. Casey, thoughts on Kazuchika? Oh, yeah, thoughts on Okada.
You almost got it. Yeah. It's Kazuchika Okada. This might be, I don't want to say biased because this is a debate, but I'm just not a big fan of Okada in general. I mean, he's good, he's talented, but he's just not one of my favorites. I mean, if we're talking Japanese wrestlers in general, he's not one of my favorites. I would definitely put Shinsuke Nakamura above him. Arguably, yes, he deserves to be in the top 10. I haven't watched enough New Japan this year consistently to really say where he belongs. But he is a good talent. He's one of those guys that kind of helped bring a new kind of breath of fresh air, I guess, to New Japan. He's one of their top stars that's still there right now because everyone's being signed by WWE. I mean, I guess he deserves to. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily take him out of the top 10 for any particular reason. I don't know. Number 2 for me anyway would be the right spot for him. I would put him a little bit lower on the top 10, but that's just me.
All right, number 1, Roman Reigns. I don't know. I feel like this is a conflict of interest just because I like him so much. Would I put him in the top 10? Would. Not because I just like him. I'm gonna look at more so the facts on this one. You can't deny, regardless of who he's been in the ring with in 2016, that he hasn't had a good year. As far as titles are concerned, and that's what we measure everything else by. So I don't know why I don't know why we're gonna measure this any differently. In any other sport, would be like, oh, he won. They won the Super Bowl. Oh, okay, they should definitely be in the top 10 players this year. I feel like he's had a good year in my opinion. I don't know if I'd say he's number 1. Just because I feel like Shinsuke's had a better year, AJ's had a better year. Especially at least those 2 guys. But I feel like Roman Reigns had the 1 versus all Royal Rumble, which was kind of a cool thing. He had to fit. I mean, and basically, when you think about it, the fans turned against him because he got hurt. When you really think about it, all he did was get hurt. And then he came back, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we hate you because you got hurt." But Seth Rollins gets hurt, and we don't hate him. But
We hated him
I
before.
they really didn't though. They didn't turn on him until he got hurt. Until he got hurt, and they were like, "Oh, you got hurt? Well, why don't we put you back in where you were before?" Because logic. But I feel like Roman Reigns. People get people aren't going to agree with Roman Reigns just because Roman Reigns has a power moveset, and anyone with a power moveset that's not diving around and doing flips and doing all of the stuff that like makes you go, oh my god, it's an issue. As far as power game is concerned, I think Roman Reigns does a really good job with it. If I wish they would, kind of do something with his character, but I mean, I can't really help that. But I would put Roman Reigns in my top 10 of this year. I think he's had a good year. The suspension happened, and it happens to everybody. Or it happens to most people. More than likely, you're going to get suspended at least once in your career. So I would definitely put Roman Reigns in the top 10. If not the top 10, the top 20, if nothing else. Top 15 probably would be the least I would drop him down to. But Casey, thoughts on Roman Reigns being number one, but also being on the top 10?
Absolutely not. No. No. Just no.
He's done more in this year than Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and John Cena combined.
No, he hasn't. No.
He has.
No.
Really, when you think about it, he has.
No. No. No.
Dean Ambrose was trash for 7 to 8 months of the year.
He was phenomenal.
Seth Rollins was hurt for 6 of those months. And then, even John Cena was hurt for a nice portion of this year.
That was wonderful. I definitely would not put him on the top 10. I would not put him on the top 15. And I will admit, as much as it hurts me to admit, when he was in that U.S. title picture storyline, I was starting to like him. And then they threw him back in the world title picture, and no. But out of the world title picture, if you start to change his character, which I feel like they're kind of doing a little bit, if you don't focus on him just, going for the title and more focus on, developing his character and maybe turning him heel, maybe changing his gimmick more, I'll start liking him more, because I feel like when he had that, even it was for a title, but it was for a smaller title, it was for the U.S. title, but I liked what he was doing. He was, he puts on good matches. I'm not a fan of all the, same power moves in every match, but he was putting on good matches. I liked the promos and stuff that he did with Rusev. I thought they were entertaining.
I feel like you got to give the man a chance to actually do something. Like you can't just be like, all right, we don't know what your character is. You don't know what your character is. All right, good luck.
I mean,
like,
I'm giving him the chance. I just don't think he needs to be in the world. I think him being in the world title picture makes it too hard for him to develop his character, because he's more focused on the title. I think you need.
Yeah, I agree.
You need to put him in just storylines and feuds where there's not necessarily a title involved. I mean, you can put him in with a more minor title like the U.S. title and still, have him develop that character, because I feel like he was starting to develop that character with Rusev there a little bit. And it kind of helped the fans, start to like him more, because they hate Rusev so much.
I am curious about this though, because now I didn't see the U.S. title tonight. I didn't see Rusev tonight. I don't know if you saw him, and I just didn't pay attention for that moment of the show. But I wrote an article about this, and everybody is getting on me on the Facebook pages that I posted, thinking, is WWE introducing too many titles too quickly? Because this is kind of going off topic, but and I feel like it does kind of go with the Roman Reigns point. Like I feel like they could have helped build these characters that we're unsure about. Build some of these great transitions from NXT to the main roster that we haven't seen yet without having them go after titles all the time.
Yeah.
And that's why I felt like there was too many titles. Plus, once again, like I said, there was no U.S. title tonight on this show, and without the WWE Universal title, they would have been forced to use the U.S. title as something. Whereas now I feel like they're just not. Um, do you have any thoughts on that? Because I feel like at this point there's probably just like I don't think there should have been more titles introduced at this point. Like they could have waited and then had that intrigue still be there later. Because everybody's gonna be like, okay, they need the titles now, but like, do they need them immediately? I don't think so.
I mean, and I have a completely different mindset on it in general. I've talked about since they announced that they were going to do the draft and the brand split. I didn't want more titles. I wanted to keep the titles that they had and kind of, have them fought for on different pay-per-views, and then have it really be Raw versus SmackDown. But now that you're having SmackDown's own tag team titles and Raw's own tag team titles and SmackDown's own world title and Raw's own world title and SmackDown's own women's championship and Raw's own women's championship. How does this it takes away from it feeling like a brand split, and it just feels like two different shows. It doesn't feel like
Yeah.
Raw is competing with SmackDown. It seems like
Plus, where's the prestige? Like,
yeah.
where's the prestige? All right, I got Charlotte's out there holding up her women's championship, saying it's the best thing ever. Then SmackDown's like, we got one that looks the exact same. It's just different colors. Like which one are we supposed to think one is better than the other, or like how am I supposed to decide? They're
Yeah.
the same freaking title with different colors.
And then how are we supposed to rebuild up the prestige of the US title or the Intercontinental title when there's all these other generic titles that are gonna not mean anything in 6 months?
Yeah, like I didn't get that either. I was like, why don't you freaking put the U.S. title in the main event? Give and then when you do introduce like if and then later on, because obviously I feel like they were going to introduce titles, but then when you introduce those titles, Rusev feels like a main event star. Guys like the Miz feel like main event stars. Guys like Sami Zayn feel like main event stars because they've been in the main event. Shoot, freaking imagine having a cruiserweight championship match as the main event of a pay per view. Like that would be amazing, but like why I mean why not try it? You haven't tried anything new before, you might as well try it. And
Yeah,
I felt like too it could have been a chance to build these guys characters who didn't need to go after the titles. Like a guy like Roman Reigns.
and I guarantee in 2 weeks we get the cruiserweight division on Raw. I guarantee a couple months down the line, SmackDown is going to have its own cruiserweight division or light heavyweight division. They're just going to do. It's going to be the original brand split all over again, like we've been saying.
Yeah.
There's going to be nothing different.
I think I think they dropped the ball on the women's title and because now they both have women's titles, but I think they should have put the main women's title on one show and the cruiserweight title on the other one. So then, like, both shows have something unique to draw your interest to. Because now, like, and that's kind of how I feel about it too. Is like, what makes SmackDown any different than Raw? Yes, they have different superstars, but honestly, what makes them any different? They both have a world title. They both have tag team titles. They both have a women's title. Like, the only thing that makes Raw any different is there's a cruiserweight title involved. Like other than that, like they both have their minor title. Like what in the world makes these like there's nothing that's making this brand split must see anymore. Where the intrigue to a certain degree is kind of gone now. But
It's just a way to sell more replica belts.
yeah, yeah. Alrighty. That was our kind of our little debate of top WWE stars. I put star in anyway. Top WWE stars of 2016. Um, or not necessarily WWE stars, top wrestling stars, I guess. I think when I looked at this, I only saw WWE guys for a second, and that's probably why I put that. But but I think the list, the list for the most part is valid. I think obviously there can be some changes here and there, but it's not a terrible list. Um, if you have a top kind of whoever your top people are, your top wrestlers are, feel free to leave them in the comments. Let us know. Give us a subscribe so we can do more debates like this. I enjoy debating. I don't know why. I just do. I enjoy debating. I think it's because Casey and I disagree on some things at times. But but yeah, I definitely enjoy this. We got WWE Backlash predictions supposed to be tonight. If Justin falls asleep, we might just leave him behind. I think he's still watching, so that's why I said that. But anyway, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you guys later. Peace.